Okay, during the afternoon, we will have a roundtable on circular economy. And first of all, I would like to thank our speakers to join us today. They will present the main concept of the circular economy, how the transition from a linear to a circular economy is done by companies today, how this new model is affecting businesses, and how some companies are facing this challenge to get and keep into the market following this trend. So here we have three specialists. They will also talk about the advantages and disadvantages that circular economy has around the world. We will have some inputs about what is the European Union doing about this and how it's supporting the business here in Europe and also in another continents. So let me introduce you first, Pranvera Lekka. Pranvera graduated in economics in 1991 at the University of Tirana, Albania, and she holds an MBA in international business, obtained here at Trieste School of Management. From 2005, she has been focusing on European priorities, European instruments and strategies for small, medium-sized enterprises, startups with focus on research and innovation programs. Since 2016, she has been involved in circular economy-related projects financed by European Commission.
Good afternoon to everybody. It's an honor for me to be here today. And first, allow me to thank the organizers and this business school of being such a positive influence in my life and in my professional career. In these years, I've been scouting startups and SMEs, helping them to develop their innovative projects. Through having access to the Horizon 2020, the biggest European Union research and innovation program ever. What attracted me to the circular economy? When I was a child, I used to go with my family to the beach, collecting a variety of shells and starfish and enjoying staying with them. Later on, when I became a mother, I took my two children and we tried to go to the beach and enjoy the time there, but unfortunately, we found less and less variety of them. And now, if you try to go to the sea, you'll find a situation like this one. And I'm truly heartbroken to think that my grandchildren and the next generation will not understand the beauty of a clean beach and the tide pools full of life. So we are letting in our oceans and in our seas an economic value, which is plastics, to float around. And now only 2% of it is recycled. I'm wondering, how smart is it? How intelligent is that? So that's the big question. So we have to move forward for this global challenge. We have to move forward the sustainability. As if you see the 17 goals of the United Nations, 12 of them have the target, the sustainability. So all the attentions are directed to this challenge. And we have to say that not only the circular economy is a golden opportunity, as it is estimated by Accenture that it will unlock $5,500 billion in new economic growth by 2030. So we don't have to let it go to waste. And most importantly, under the right regulations, the circular economy can increase sustainable employment opportunities as well. Now, let me bring to you the definition of MacArthur Foundation, which is one of the 10 biggest foundations in the United States, launched in 2010 to accelerate the transition to a circular economy. And as you see, it is a new economic and industrial system which regenerates and restores all the values and keep them as long as possible in the circle. So that's the most fitted definition that you can find on the studies recently conducted by the most important actors in the sector. So let us see a short video that explains better the concept and the pillars. is another.
Sorry.
It's going okay, thank you. So, as you see, the circular economy redesigns the way the economy works. So it contributes to a make to be make again world and use the traditional waste on one industry as a raw material for other industries. So that is like it works. So unlike the current linear economy that consumes and wastes resources, the idea behind the circular economy is to mirror the ecosystem that leaves nothing wasted. So it should be like the ecosystem. In the circular economy, there are two material flows, the biocycle and the technocycle. So the consumables may be like cotton, food, water. They can be absorbed into the ecosystem through biological process. And the technocycle, it concerns to the materials such as fossil fuels, plastics, and metals, which are finite and cannot be renewed. And in this butterfly diagram, we can see better the two flows, the biological one and the technical one. So it is important, like at home, we are separating the organic materials and the technical materials at home, just doing by the separating glass, plastics, and so on from the food waste. The same it works with the economy. So we have to ensure the separation of biological and technical materials after use, so if they can each follow separate recycle process. Now, within the technical cycle, the most inner circle, the maintenance, is the cycle that retains more value of the product because it requires less process, less materials, less energy. And the larger are the cycles, and the less the starting value of the products remains, because the parts can be used as spare parts for other industries and for other products, as you have seen the video of Ellen MacArthur. The same will be simpler to understand through this GIFR. Now, which are the pillars of the circular economy? It is based on three pillars mainly. It designs out waste and pollution, keep products and materials in use, and regenerate natural system. As we know, the world is currently undergoing radical transformation. The technology is evolving ever and ever, and it is projected that by 2030, the middle-class consumers will reach some 5 billion people. So it will further increase resource use and costs. This is why the concept of the circular economy is an appealing concept. So we have to take care of our planet, of our air, soil, and water quality and pollution, because it takes to the planet 18 months to regenerate everything that you use in a year. So you see that one planet cannot be enough to regenerate the resources we are consuming in a year. As we are dominating our planet, great dominance brings great responsibility. So we have to do something to shift to this business model to a new one. And now you can see that according to the circularity gap report of this year, of March of this year, it shows that only 9% of the global economy is circular. So that means that just 9% of the 92.8 billion tons of minerals, fossil fuels, metals, and biomass that enter the economy is used annually. So it's too low, this percentage. We have to make something to change it. Yes, it won't be an easy trip to create a new business model based on designing products to be circular. This transition requires a radical change in the way we produce and consume. It's about shifting from a traditional approach of cost on the revenues to an open approach on creating value generated to the others in the other business opportunities in the ecosystem. So we have to shift to this new model. And if you see, the true invoice would then look something like this. If you try to buy some wine from a winery, as in my case, I'm supposing to buy some wine. I'm living in Tuscany, so it's more probably for me to buy some wine in a good winery in the area. So a true invoice would then look something like this. And it puts together the profit and loss account for all the affected parties. So the true profit will be decided by this new model and will make justice to all the value that is created. So the benefits of the circular economy will be a lot of, because it will create green jobs, will reduce the use of the virgin resources, and the most important aspect, their price volatility, increases incomes and reduces pollution and minimizes waste. That's the more important for a healthier environment. Yes, of course, this new model has some challenges to be overcome, as legislations, logistics, investments, and technology. Now, 3 categories have been identified in the circular economy: the innovation models, the use models, and the output models, which respectively are focused on the design and use and the recovery of the products. So this might be an example of the first category, the circular innovation. In a pilot project between Philips and Rao architects based in Amsterdam, the focus was shifted from selling light bulbs to providing the light service instead. So it's a change in the design of the project. For the second category, it's about disrupting the ownership of the car, of the e-bike, and of the scooter. So it is focused on the use phase, meanwhile maintaining the added value of the product. And the third category is about the output. We know that it's more common in the circular economy. The output of an industry might become the raw material for the other industries. So this company in Belgium is using an innovation to separate the glasses in different colors, so they might be used for other products to be sold in other industries. And I want to remind the quote of Diamantis that says that The world's biggest problems are the world's biggest business opportunities. So we can take this challenge, and we have to think about how to transform this problem to a good business opportunity. Let us see around some examples of major corporations discovering the big business opportunities around the planet. Adidas has designed a new line of sneakers. It is called Futurecraft, and it is 100% recyclable. So they are trying to shift to the circular economy and to solve the problem of plastic waste. Carlsberg is developing the world's first bio-based beer bottle. Samsung is collecting e-waste in order to recycle it. So Samsung is placing collection eco boxes in several countries. And that said, Samsung doesn't have a project in Italy. I don't know if anyone knows how I can do with my husband's dead battery, because I sent an email to the Samsung and the response is like this. They still haven't a project in Italy to recollect the e-waste, but they are on the road. IKEA, you know IKEA. Everybody has a furniture of IKEA or something like that in their home. This company is starting renting or recycling furniture. So they are moving toward this target to be circular by 2030. Other 40 brands and retailers are moving towards circular packaging. They have signed the new MacArthur Foundation's Plastics Economy Global Commitment. So other brands and other retailers are moving to this challenge target to be circular. Walkie as well is a group that is producing packaging materials with circular polymers. And TISA reminds us that these days we talk a lot about, but back in the day, things were really built to last. The concept is not new, but we are trying to use more of this concept and to put that in place. So you all are invited to make ideas happen and to make history.
Thank you, Pranvera.
You're welcome.
Later we will have time for questions, okay? So remember your questions, and when all the three speakers finish their presentation, we will have that time, okay? Now I will introduce you Franco Scolari. Franco, after his master's degree in electronic engineering at Polytechnic of Milan and MBA at Bocconi University, has been a professor in information technology at the University of Udine. With 40 years of management experience, he has been CEO of big multinational manufacturing companies as Electrolux and CEO in important public multi-service companies listed on the stock exchange. He loves technology, risk, and innovation. Please take the floor, Franco.
I like also music. I promise to start with the music, just to avoid that you will fall asleep, because I have much less interesting subject than my predecessor, but I don't want you to sleep. Do you know this song? Who remembers this song? What's the name of this song? Yes. Is the Who? Yes? And but the subject is wasteland
Wasteland.
Wasteland. So when I listen to this, I say, okay, I will start because in the afternoon maybe everybody's sleeping. So go back to the words, because when I had more or less, when I was your generation, years ago, I was listening to this song. What's the sense of wasteland generation? Why is it important to recycle? How is possible? And 40 years ago, nobody was talking about waste because it was plenty of land, plenty of raw materials. It was not so, it was nonsense to recycle. After 40 years, I remain optimistic. I remain a lover of music. This year, it will be the 50 years from Woodstock, and I've been to Woodstock. Maybe I will go back, I don't know. But let me start optimistically from the second slide you projected. Can I go back to the second slide? Okay, I have my presentation, but this is obsolete. Let's use your second, the beach.
The beach.
The beach.
Yes.
You have a beach of my age that is clean, without any resource. And then you have today beach or river of ocean that are full of plastic. And this, coming back to your last slide, is a big opportunity because we have available raw material at no cost, mainly. Who knows Diamantis, Peter Diamantis? The last slide he projected. He's a guru coming from Singularity University. I met him personally. Read his blog, The Era of Abundance. And he sustained that we are getting into the era of abundance. Everything is abundant. Know-how is abundant, okay? The knowledge is abundant. The energy is abundant. The waste is abundant. So if you can go in the middle of the ocean collecting, free of charge, the enormous amount of plastic that is there, or if you go to a river crossing from Slovenia into Croatia that is hyper-polluted. What's the name of that river?
Rizana.
I've seen something. Is your warehouse, raw material warehouse,
It's not so
free
easy.
of charge?
It's not so easy.
Now, why? Coming back to a little bit, now you are wake up. So I got my first message. You were sleeping before, in the arms of your fiancé, but this is unfair. Now you follow me. Why in these days circular economy is important? It's important because we have high cost of raw material. We have, hopefully, political guidelines. If you have to dispose, and if you dispose wrongly, you have to pay a lot of money. If you don't make separated, etc. And this is political issue. So on top of that, we have technologies. And as in my presentation, I'm a technology lover. I do believe that technology is the best contribution for a better humanity. We live better. The world is getting better, except because we have technology. Technology that allows us to access free of charge to the knowledge. Every knowledge is here. You remember when your father bought an encyclopedia for you? It was a super Christmas gift. It costed a lot. Now everything in our hand, it costs nothing, the knowledge. The point is that we have to use properly. As we have to use the available resource, the waste, to do something into profit. And it is possible. What as a Polo Technological we are doing? We are doing several activities in innovation. One activity is participating and winning European projects like Horizon 2020. We participate, say hello to Peter. But if you want to enjoy some fantastic webinar, including circular economy, go to Peter Diamantis webinar free of charge, 45 minutes, wonderful. He's a fantastic person. By the way, we are winning European project like Cinderella. Is a project to find the best practices in Europe to recycle the material coming from, let's say, destroying building in the city. When you make demolition in the city, the best situation is that you have to transport a lot of volumes, a lot of tons, etc., etc. And this is extremely costly, powder and whatsoever. There are practices now coming mainly from North Europe, where they are paying attention, but in London, there are policies to reduce or to incentivize the local reusage of material. So instead of moving the material, you try to regenerate and making recyclable the cement or whatsoever on local, because when you make demolition, in several cases, you build up something new with new material, etc. So Polo Tecnologico, together with 20 partners, how many partners we don't have, I don't remember, there is Fraunhofer whatsoever, so we have access to the best practice. Coming a little bit downer into very tangible projects, we participate as Polo Tecnologico to a project Interreg, Italia-Slovenia, and how many of you in Trieste loves sailing boats? Nobody loves sailing boats? Okay, just you should say that I'm here instead having a regatta today, but this is not so important. I am delighted to stay with you. How do you recycle a sailing boat, President? Mr. the Chairman. But please, we heard from her speech that you have to think in terms of circular economy when you buy something. So did you buy an Optimist without knowing how you recycle it? This is dramatic. Because today in this region, Adria region, the recycling of a reinforced fiber, the material of a sailing boat, you sink it because it's extremely cheap. If you don't sink it, you have to recycle, spending in a lot of money. For this, we have this project. So we have partner in Ljubljana, we have partner in Pordenone. We founded a SMEs, a company that built up a technology to treat, regenerate, and detoxine. How you say it? Avoid the toxic. Because the resin that reinforce the fiber is toxic. Ingegnere, come si dice detossificare? Detoxify. Detoxi? Okay, you heard the message. Thank you very much. I don't know what to say. By the way, at the end of the process, this small company can treat a sailing boat, your Optimist, regenerated material for reusage. And the third point, if you go to Pezzuti, this is a case that I like to put at your attention, because this company, acting in stamping small components, packaging for B2B, so to other industries, is a supplier of IKEA, etc., was bankrupting. The company was bankrupting due to the hard competition, fierce competition of this process. Stamping a piece of plastic is extremely poor, okay? So the company opened in Croatia, where the energy is lower, no more jobs. Then they got the challenge to move into full circular economy. Pezzuti is gaining turnover 15% per year since the past 5 years, when they moved into circular. This year, around 90 million euros, so it's a mid company, but it is a company. They opened a new fully automated plant connected to the railway, and I want to let you a little bit thinking and astonished. They collect PET, okay, polyethylene, from Japan. You know why? In Japan, they are extremely severe in dividing the plastic bottle. And if you can collect homogeneous color of the bottle, you have a cost of treatment that is extremely low. So they start with this material, a ship is coming, is perfectly selected. The policy in Japan imposed that the PET for bottle is brown that is good to avoid ultraviolet, I don't know exactly, but this is super fixed. So if there is a policy, if there is an order, the circular economy is a business. This company is getting this raw material that normally is a cost, they treat it, and they make a small basket for ice cream for Nestlé. So it's a fully recycled, fully transparent plastic basket. So I told you what the company that I'm general manager of, Polo Tecnologico, is doing in terms of innovation through the best practice in Europe. A case of a European Horizon 2020 project. If you are curious and you want to know best practices, of course you will come, because free of charge we will share the know-how. I told you the success of an entrepreneurial company that from the bankruptcy is now gaining money through the circular economy, and on top of that, I got your attention, nobody's sleeping. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Franco. I think we will all have many interesting questions to you later. Let me introduce you now Eddie Kraus. For more than 20 years, Mr. Kraus has been an executive of Aquafil's Law, the Slovene part of Aquafil Group, one of the leading global players in the production of nylon 6. Under his management, Aquafil's Law became a center of excellence for the group's policies of sustainability and innovation. Mr. Kraus holds a degree in economics and commerce from University of Trieste, and now he lives in Opicina. Please.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm local, so I'm here from Trieste. So I'm also very proud to be here in this school and to give my experience on this matter. So I would like first to spend a couple of words on our company. Our company is Aquafil. No, I have to go back. So here you have some figures of the company. We are Aquafil. It was born in late 60s in Arco di Trento. It very close to Torbole, on the northern part of Lago di Garda, Lake of Garda. We are very close, only 5 kilometers from Lake of Garda. At the back of the factory we have River Sarka, which is going to the lake, and all around our factories we have olive trees and agriculture facilities and so on. So the group was from the very beginning very keen and very close to the environmental problems, trying to preserve, because we are in a chemical textile business. It means we are first of all a chemical company, so affecting in a certain way the environment. Altogether, we have about 2,900 employees. We are present in 3 continents. We are present in Europe, of course. We are present in United States, and with 2 plants. One we just opened, the third one we just opened in Phoenix, in Arizona, and 2 others are in Cartersville, very close to Atlanta, in Georgia. Then we have 1 plant, quite big plant in China, in Jiaxing. It's about 150 kilometers apart from Shanghai. 1 very small plant in Thailand, and of course in Europe. In Europe we are present in Germany, in Scotland, in Italy, of course. And what I am straight leading as a general manager and part of the board, the plants that we have in Slovenia and in Croatia. In the company, I am already 24 years in the company. They are calling me, because this was the first investment that the group did in Slovenia, was the first investment that the group did out from Italy, and I was leading this. They were calling, and still they are calling me the man from the East. The whole turnover of the company is around 555 million euros. You see also the EBITDA. This part of 555 is made in Slovenia. We have a turnover of 235 million, so we are a very important part of the group of Aquafil. So as I said, we are working in chemical textile business. We are producing yarn from polyamide 6, or better known for everybody, especially for ladies, the nylon, which you have the special lady product, the pantyhoses. But we are the leader in the world for the carpet yarn. So the carpet is here, what you have seen here, and we are producing the yarn for the carpet and selling to our customers. The same for the textile yarn. So as I said, we are producing for pantyhoses, but we are producing also for fashion clothing. And then polymers, because in our production, where we have, first of all, we have the polymerization, then we have the production of granules, and these granules we can also sell, and from the engineering plastics. So the carpet yarn is used in different final products. Of course, as I said, we are selling yarns. Contract means everywhere where is a very big passage of people, so airports, hotels, offices, and so on. This is a special, very good quality yarn for the carpet. Then residentials in the houses. Automotive, very important. You see in the car, inside in the car, you have part made as a carpet, and this is in a high price, and the high quality cars is made by polyamide 6. In a cheaper car, it's made by polyester. We are supplying our clients who are supplying the brands BMW, Mercedes, and so on. Then our racks. It's a carpet also, not wall, carpets, and also in the technical upholstery where they made the fabrics for the chair and for this part of things. Textile, of course, it's nylon. Swimwear. It's a classic use, sportswear, also where you use everything which is a little bit stretching. It's mostly it's polyester, but when it's a little bit, the price is a little bit higher. Should be made by polyamide, by nylon. Then socks, as I told you before, and also high-tech clothing. Engineering plastic. It's a granules that we are selling to compounders, who are then put inside other materials, and they are producing different kind of plastics for different kind of usage. So, generally speaking, we are, as I said, chemical and textile business producing nylon, or with the proper name, a polyamide 6. Polyamide 6, it's a material that, it's a plastic, it's a material that could be regenerated through the infinity. So it's not as other plastics, if we have seen, for example, PET, it's degenerating after the first, second regeneration. In the nylon business, this will be regenerated all the time. We made in Ljubljana, in our facilities here in the capital of Slovenia, we made in 2011 a plant. It's completely our technology made by but a group work of our engineers from Italy, Slovenia, Poland. We have 2 Slovak engineers and 1 from the United States. And they made this system. We, at that time, we invested around 20 million euros. We were so confident that this system and this plant will work that we even did the pilot plant, which who is in the industry knows that before you go in an innovative plant, you have to do the pilot plant. We started straight with industrial production. Of course, we made a mistake because after 1 week, the plant completely stopped. We had a lot of damage on it, but we learned a lot, and then we restarted. And with this technology, which today is still under modernization, under working, because we are working also to save to have a highest productivity and also to save the money or energies on steam, electricity, and so on. So how it works? We are collecting the waste around the world of nylon 6 or polyamide 6 of nylon. So all the goods, post-consumer or post-industrial, so depends also from you have also in the industrial production, it's a lot of, especially, for example, in fabrics, it's a lot of shreds of part that before they went to the landfill. We collect all this material and we send to Ajdovščina, which is here, not far away from here, in Slovenia, in Vipava Valley, in Valle del Vipaco, in Italian. We have a storage of 15,000 square meters. And all this material comes to this storage. We are calling this storage with a very scientific name. It's a storage AKS. AKS. It means any kind of shit. But when you say AKS, it's okay. when our clients are coming to see, we say yes. Now we are going to see the AKS storage. And there we are receiving, as I said, all this waste material. And we have two major goods. One is the exhausted wall-to-wall carpets, which we are importing also from the United States in containers, and the fishing nets. The fishing nets is for us a very big source of this material because we learned in the past that on the yearly basis the world produces about 1,000, 25,000, 130,000 tons of fishing net per year. Before, especially in the aquaculture, the fish farmers and also the fishermen, they were just, when this waste were, they finished their life and they were exhausted, so they just, the fish farmers, they just cut it and put these nets on the bottom of the sea. And the same was done also by the fishermen somewhere around the world. So it was a very big damage for the nature, for the fish, because these nets were ghost nets in the sea, were still catching the fish. Now, thanks to us, these nets, I'm speaking about nets because it's a clear example, became a good material for sale. So at the very beginning, in 2011, when we were buying these nets, they were coming in Aro Aidoshina, they were coming complete with boas, with ropes, with plumb. Everything was a net. For free. We were paying just a transport, we had just transport cost, and then we have, of course, to clean the net, because we could regenerate only the part of the net, not the boas, because it's in polystyrene, the ropes are in polypropylene, so this we have to, again, to recycle with the other companies. And with this, slowly, especially from the nets coming from Sweden, Norway, from this part, slowly they understood that this is a good to sell. So now we are receiving nets which are completely clean, and they are coming on the pellets and they are clean, so we can just take them and we put in our dissolutor. But of course we have to pay. For us it's becoming a real raw material. For the old carpets, we have done a new line, which is also our technology. We put the exhausted carpet in this line, and in this line, this line automatically divide the carbonate, which is a part of the carpet, from the fluff, which is the top of the carpet, which is made by nylon. And this we recycle. We give the carbon for building purposes, and all the other materials then we send to the incinerator. So we can manage also with this in a very proper way. For example, the fishing nets we are buying from Pakistan through Europe to Chile. So from a big part of world we are receiving these fishing nets, because we are growing with this production and we need a lot of raw material. And I'm also saying that we have two big assets in our hands, which is our and nobody has. One is the technology, and the second one is that we, in these 6-7 years, we started. We know the market where to buy all this proper waste. So this is also, in my opinion, for us a big opportunity. So as I said, through our regeneration process, Econyl, so this nylon, this yarn never loses its virgin qualities. So it means it can be recycled an infinite number of times, becoming the sustainable solution for the fashion and interior industries. And when we say this, automatically we understand that we are at the very beginning of the future in a circular economy. Because our goal is to understand how to get, for example, for one piece which is made by nylon, how this piece, when it's exhausted, when finished its life cycle, it comes back straight to us, to the recyclable, to the regeneration process. So this is the first big question. The second one is how to re-engineer the products which are mixed, especially in the automotive industry, which are mixed with the other components on which then we cannot recycle because they are mixed, so chemically, so we cannot recycle, or the cost is too high for us for the recycling. So also our clients, we are pushing also our clients to re-engineer their products and to follow the life of this, and then how to get back to our facilities. So if we take 4 steps, it's the first is as I said, is the rescue, so collecting the material around the world. Then it's our task to regenerate, so it means it must come to us in Slovenia, then must be we put in a dissolutor, so it's we put dissolution, then depolymerization, then distillation, and we are coming back to our raw material, which is now named caprolactam, which is coming from the oil industry. So in the oil industry, you have oil, then you have benzene, you have cyclohexanone, cyclohexane, and then caprolactam. And we are, through our process, we are coming back with the depolymerization back to the caprolactam. And this caprolactam, in one hand, the caprolactam from the regeneration ships and from as a raw material from benzene is, from the quality point of view, is completely the same. For this reason, our product, when they are done from the regenerated material, are completely the same as the product which is made from the original, let's say, from the raw material, which is caprolactam. So from this we do remake, we do the yarn and also the plastic, the granules, and as I said, the reimagine. Then with our clients, we are trying to do the new. So this is the generation system. You see the fishing nets, what they're doing. These are the typical example of the ghost nets in the sea. So this is our storage in Ajdovščina, and these are the nets that we have in the storage. What is also interesting, just to tell you, it's that following the nets in our storage, you can more or less understand from which countries are coming, because I said before, when they're coming from Sweden, from Norway, they are all properly packed, they are clean, nice, and so on. Then you go, some nets are full of sand, for example. This, you know, this is from Tunisia, from Mauritania, from Morocco, something like that. Then you have nets that are completely destroyed and different colors and so on. This is coming from Greece. This is quite. Then from Pakistan, it's interesting because how they pack. So you see, you understand that they don't pay nothing the workers, no, because they have time to properly pack, and they squeeze the nets and it's a dance. So it's quite interesting to see. Then this is the plant, as I said, that we have in Ljubljana, where we regenerate. We started, just to do some figures, in 2011 with 7,000 tons per year. Now we are already on 29,000 tons per year, which is on the whole amount that we are using of caprolactam. It's on around 120,000 tons. It's around 20-25%. Of course, our final goal is to get 100%, not only this, but 100% of caprolactam coming from these resources. Then we remake. You see the bobbin, different colors, and so on. And then, as I said, we reimagine with our clients the different articles. For us, this is a big asset because the clients are ready to pay a little bit more for this yarn than from the classic yarn. So we are out from the battle market with Chinese, Taiwanese, and Turkish producers. So we are a little bit higher. So these are our clients. We have seen already Adidas before, but we have Speedo, and for example, what we are very proud. This is a watch. It's a very fashion product, and it's an ocean heritage called. And the belt is made, and also is written when you buy the watch, is made by our Econyl yarn on 27,000 tons. Not a big quantities only for this, but we are very proud to have also in this field. Thank you very much. This is our plan, and that's it.
Many thanks, Eddie. Thank you to you all. But now is the round for the questions. And I would like to start with a question, then we will open the floor for you, so think about the questions that you have for all of them. So, does a company that decides to go circular requires new staff or new positions for covering this new model? For all, so maybe you can answer.
No, as I told, we started with, from the technical and technological point of view, we started with our people who were already inside in the business. The big moment was the great idea that our president of the board had. We started with in 2007 with the environmental balance sheet, and then we did all what we have to do with saving of energy, waste, and so on and so on. And then when we optimize all our production plans, then we said, now what we can do to improve. And we did this, but because it was the very beginning, because was a start, we started internally with our people. Now, of course, we are growing because we need special people for, as I said, we had 2 persons who are traveling around the world to buy this waste, and we have to do technicians, chemistry people in the production of this nylon. So step by step, also the person grow in our company.
Thank you. Pramera, do you want to add something? Because you were to say.
Yes, of course, it's not so important or necessary to have a circular economy manager, but the companies needs to have some expertise in material science and in logistics or other issues, not necessarily have a circular economy manager. What the companies need is to have a cross-functional collaboration with other departments that links together to design and to improve processes, and some expertise in how to find some instruments to finance this innovation, new process to go through the circular economy.
I have one more question. Okay. How is legislation affecting?
Shall I say something?
Yeah. The questions are for you all, so you can all answer.
For my experience and for my thinking, circular economy is a disruptive business model. Okay, something that was not existing and now is actual. So, a company based on circular economy requires new culture. New culture means new bias-minded, okay? Then you need different processes, because the process is different. Then you need, and this is important, new marketing strategy, because you have to select customers and companies that are initially open to pay a little bit more because they gain a little bit more. IKEA has, let's say, an image that is open to buy something from you, providing that is green, providing that recycle. Everything is recycled. Even if buying, because you must have the idea and the risk to go into the river in Croatia, getting up polluted, disgusting material. So it is a new business model requiring completely new mentality. Maybe recycled mentality, but definitely new.
Thank you. But I wanted to ask, because I guess that this kind in this model is led also by legislation. So how is the local legislations or global standards and new agreements impacting or affecting this change in the business model?
We are already in the week of no comments for voting.
No, very shortly, we are, for my experience, when we are speaking about circular economy, when we are speaking about our plant and what I have showed to you today, everybody is saying, good, very good, you are environmental friendly, this and that, very good. Also the politicians, everybody. But when you are the importer of the waste, then immediately the music change. They say, this is mafia, they are buying, the waste is coming here, we don't know where it's going, what they are doing, maybe they are buying, they are maybe then hitting to or putting in the river, no, and so it's the approach already is very complicated. We are, of course, working because we are the leader in this field in Slovenia. We are also work on the legislation, which is not the Slovenian but is a European legislation. We are especially work on the facilities and how to import and to storage the waste, because for the bureaucrats from Brussels, the best solution is to put that every piece of waste is a dangerous material. It's a dangerous waste, but it means a lot of cost for transport, for storage, and so on and so on. And so we have to fight also in this field, and in a certain way to push the politicians to be more normal on this part. Of course, we know that also on this with the waste, the Europe and all the world, they have a lot with the criminal organization. They have a lot of problems.
Thank you. And now it's your time. So, if you have any questions.
So I have two questions for all of you. I have finance background, let's say, so they're more like economically oriented. I think we all agree that this circular economy is pretty much important for the overall future of everybody in the whole globe. On the other hand, if I move from the finance side only, there is a price to pay, yeah, because obviously you yourself said that we have customers that are ready to pay a little bit more than the average raw material. So you already target a specific set of customers which are able and ready to pay more. And not all of them are willing or able to. And if I think it from a buyer perspective, and only from an economical side, if your cost of recycling, being quality equal, comes at a cost that is higher, obviously, than my raw material or cheap raw material that I find on the market, then obviously I'm not always willing to go for it because it will increase my overall raw material cost. Yeah. So is this circular economy model a model that can be like leveraged overall? This is the first question, in your opinion. And the second is how to get this, how do you think you can get this change of mindset that you were mentioning before in the average Homo economicus? Because tomorrow, if I break the screen of my phone, it is still cheaper to buy a new one than repair one, yeah? And none of us will repair things, and this was one of your pillars before in your presentation, yeah? If obviously you find phones for, 100 euro, 80 euro, whatever you can find, yeah? And especially in a period of business where the life cycle of the products comes shorter and shorter. So every time we are bombarded with marketing on, changing our phone every year and doing our stuff quicker and quicker. So how do you combine this circular economy framework with what you see often on the market from companies and the marketing that they do? Thank you. They're easy questions.
So, yes, on the first part, caprolactam, which is I'm speaking for our example. Caprolactam, which is our raw material, is on the stock exchange. So the price is changing. Producing from the waste, we have the stable price all the time. Yes. More or less the stable price. So, what is happening? That sometimes, because this is going up, we are cheaper with the recycled material, and sometimes when the caprolactam drops down, we are higher than this. This is the first problem. The second one is the productivity. So when we started with our plant in 2011, we were far away, very far away with the price from the caprolactam straight production, and we lost quite a lot of money because we had to have time to increase the productivity. So as I said before, to lower the energy cost and so on and so on. Also the waste cost, because we didn't know how to approach the market and so on. So now we are more or less on the same level. Sometimes also with the Econil product, sometimes we are already cheaper. Then we have this premium price that the market is paying to us. No? So I can say that we are balanced in a certain way. What we are doing in the parallel, also with another 12 company, also to be more and more sustainable, we are trying together with 12 other companies from different European countries and one from United States. We are trying with the bio-based industry program on Horizon. We are trying to establish a system how to produce caprolactam from sugar, not anymore from oil, but from sugar. So we are now studying how to get this bio-based caprolactam. So this will mean that in the future we will have bio-based caprolactam, so the product coming from sugar, and the recycled material. So in this way, we think that in a certain way we will cover completely all our consumption. This is the first. The second one was what?
Basically, how to change the mindset for the single people.
Yes.
For the
Yeah, this was a process. As I said, we started with this sustainability balance sheet in 2007. So we were pushing all the people to do their homework in the production, in the offices everywhere, how to reduce electricity and so on. Slowly, this entered in the mentality of the whole factories, and you need years to do this, but then now at the end you see that all the people, also the shift workers, everybody, they are doing their best how to be sustainable in the whole thing, and I think they are also sustainable in their homes now, as we are.
There is something about my experience via the project Cinderella, where we are testing around Europe how it's going. Now, how the circular economy is new, so you have to push for the changes. The world is not changing by itself. Someone has to push it. Okay? And there are good politicians, good governments that push for changes. How? Mainly with incentive or disincentive. You have to move into catalytic blah, blah, blah. You have to reduce the smog. And this is a politician issue. It is interesting that political rules must be sustainable. So it's a push for initial stage, and then it must run by itself. Okay? Instead, it's never-ending subsidy. So at one stage, the market will be open to use good material or recycled material, because you point out the fact that at the initial stage or at the stage, the recycled material is a higher cost. This is possible, but you said you are a financial guy, and financial guys are looking at margins, not costs, the bright ones. So if you can sell something at 12 and you have a cost of 1 more, and this is plenty of case. You know, cases of Starbucks. It's much more expensive than a very good Illy. Starbucks is green, blah, 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 storytelling, okay? And you go at the airport, Illy, and Starbucks, I go to Starbucks because they are social, because they are green, because they are recycled, and whatsoever. This is an environment that, come back to my love, technology. Technology and recycling and whatever is improving the behavior, improving the world. This is what I think. Because you touch the point of rules, I encountered several times good indication and good policies, political indication. From the political indication, if we come, in example, in Italy, but also in Europe, to the bureaucratic interpretation is a disaster. Is a disaster. The principle related to the usage of something coming from an industrial process, keep in mind, you do an industrial process and you have something coming out, separated from the process, is a waste. Your case is a special, let me say, interpretation, because they start from a product. At the end of the process, they come to another product that, generally speaking, is defined as a waste, so cannot be used. But then you try to explain, because the general principle, the general European principle, I told you that you are lucky. But when I was working in Trieste, I was the general manager of the incinerator, okay? Acegas, you pay the bills of Acegas. The waste of an incinerator is waste you have to dispose. But you can have something that is good. I did the same job in Venice, and I had the treatment of sewage, okay? The sewage. From the mud of the sewage, you get a high concentrate, let's say a concentration of dioxin that is suggested in Holland to go into agriculture, of course, because what you collect from the cows is originally good for agriculture. It's extremely natural. But we had the public ministry, and some person at the process and whatsoever, then everything has been solved. But they thought that we were poisoning the agriculture with a very good ratio of dioxin. So the bureaucracy, for my understanding, is always critical. If you manage waste, you are supposed to be mafia. You are supposed to be something wrong. While Acegas was a process to reduce pollution, picking up the waste and incinerating it. But the common sense from the bureaucratic point of view is negative. And this is a confirmation that is a cultural change.
Let me add something else. According to a recent survey, 60% and more of consumers answered that they would prefer a sustainable product instead of another one that is not sustainable. So even if the price is a little bit higher, so we are moving towards an open mentality to think circular. And in the second case, what about the costs, the prices of the products that are circular? Not in any case the prices are higher, because we are now, as I told you during my presentation, we are now affording the problem of price volatility of the raw materials, because companies can't make forecasts about the price of their products for the incoming year. So if the companies are in trouble because of the raw material price volatility, all the economies are in trouble. So that's the solution, because if you are using raw materials by waste, the price is not so high, and we can forecast it. So that's the idea why we have to move to a circular economy. Thank you.
So we have to add, so not all the materials are recyclable. This is the first point. So you cannot recycle everything. So, and if you are in the business where your material is not recyclable, you cannot approach the circular economy. The second one is the incinerator. It's a very big issue, very big question. Because also from us, partially, we have to send, when we finish all the process, we get some waste, which must be sent to the incinerator. In Slovenia, for example, we do not have any incinerator. No. So we have to send in Austria or in Germany. And this affects our CO2 carbon print. because the track. No? So now, from one side, you have done a very good job with this recycle system. On the other side, you are losing the CO2 carbon print because you have to send to. And when you speak with the politicians and you ask to build one incinerator close or somewhere, no, everybody, the politicians are with the incinerators are very, very suspicious because they start to understand should be okay for the municipality, for public waste, but not for dangerous waste from industry, especially from pharmacy industries, from our industry and so on. So there are still very, very, very big question and big issues on this.
Where there are smart politicians and bureaucrats, they decide accordingly to the knowledge. Do you know where is the incinerator of Vienna? You never visited, have you been in Vienna? Did you visit the incinerator? Explain how it is. No, we have a little bit of participation from the public. You are not sleeping good. So how is the incinerator?
It's made by a famous artist, and so it's a kind of attraction. A lot of people.
You remember the name?
Unterwasser, fine.
Unterwasser.
So they invest in that kind of thing.
Yeah, go and visit, because it's fantastic. It's a pillar for the smog, okay, for the smoke. There is a super golden bowl, okay? It is a museum. When I discovered it, I was bicycling around, and I was with my shorts bicycling. I visited, what that? Strange, it's a Disney World. And then I discovered that trucks are coming in. So I went bicycling inside, and I discovered that it was an incinerator. Why you go to Vienna instead of going to Trieste?
Because Trieste doesn't accept.
When I was there, I come back because I rang the bell, said, hey, incinerator, I am the manager of the incinerator in Trieste, and I want to discuss with Geschäftsführer. Padova and Trieste is the same. No, it's the same. But by the way, we make a jumelage between the two incinerators, and the guy came. Why is downtown Vienna the incinerator? Because they made an LCA, life cycle assessment, integrated, okay? And pollution is due to the transportation of waste. So as nearest as you make to the generation of waste, the best. Engineers. And then in Italy we have some bureaucrats, they talk about NIMBY. NIMBY, not in my backyard incinerator, we put in Slovenia instead. That I don't want is the lack of knowledge is a disaster. Thank you.
Is there any other question?
Mr. Scolari started with a song, and another song came to my mind, that is Mrs. Robinson. And this, why? Because a movie came to my mind. I think it's a movie of about 50 years ago. That is The Graduate, with Dustin Hoffman. And one of the initial scenes of the movie, during the graduation party, a family friend approaches this newly graduate guy, young guy, and tells him just one word: plastics. Meaning that was the industry to bet on at that time. Later on, this changed a lot. By the way, who organized this meeting gave us a pen made of cardboard and, I think, wood. So meaning that plastic was not anymore the industry to bet. So my question is, in the next 50 years, will be plastic, thanks to recycling technologies and what you told us today, will be in 50 years an industry to bet on, or plastic is not anymore the industry to bet on?
Yes, there are some agreements globally to eliminate plastics by 2030 or 2050. This is a challenge, of course, but all the governments are moving to this direction. And Italy as well, you know, they are doing a lot with the new politics about the plastics. So it's a challenge, but we have to try to move towards. So it will take the commitment of all the actors, like the academics, like this school, researchers, and all the local and national and international governments and organizations. So it's a little, it's hard, but it's a great challenge. So the target is this way, on this way.
But in Italy, we have done the polypropylene, no, with Mr. Natta in early 60s. But now, the famous Matter B, the plastic, which is bioplastic made by Novamont, which now all the shopping bags are made. So it's a big step forward. No, I was in Novamont. I've seen this process, how they are processing, and also how this degrade in few days, no, in the nature. So this will help a lot. Research is going on. I think that we will need the plastics also in the future, but will be definitely a different plastic.
Okay.
Thank you, all very interesting, and I'm glad to see a success story regarding the recycling and circular economy. My question is, if you had to vote to nominate, as of today, the country being champion of the circular economy, which country this will be, and what lesson we can learn from them?
I know because I read the answer is Taiwan. Taiwan made, together with some other countries, the country LCA. So you know, it is life cycle assessment. The life cycle assessment is let's say, procedure according to which you can determine how much waste and energy and consumption of natural resources you have in that process. You have a telephone, say, I make the life cycle assessment. You go back, if you piece a piece of furniture, IKEA is making life cycle assessment of the piece of furniture, going back to the forest, all steps. Taiwan made this nation life cycle assessment, and it seems they are the lowest per capita, is a statistic, because they really pay attention from the school, etc., etc. Competing, of course, with some countries from Northern countries, Finland,
Denmark.
Sweden, but in I read that in or Sweden, they have so much wood that they don't pay attention to the consumption of wood because they have an enormous quantity, and this is bad from the life cycle assessment. Go somewhere, you find the precise answer and statistics.
I think it's if we speak with the country, it depends on the behavior of the people. No, we have to educate the people to act. No, from as a single person, family, school, and so on and so on. So to get this, to promote this kind things. I think that a lot of steps forward have been done. I see for my children, no? As Mr. Scolari said before, about the waste. When I was their age, about the waste, nobody was thinking about, no? And now, if I'm home in a hurry and I throw somewhere the paper in the bin, no? They said, "Father, what are you doing?" No, they ask me, "What are you doing?" I said, "What are you doing? What?" The paper, you must go there, no? So I see that in the young people, so this is very, very present, and also then in their final jobs, everywhere they will be, they will count about this, no? And in this way, the countries will grow. No?
Let me add one thing. In the past, but I was checking through internet. In the past, a related index to the per capita income, and you say United States is a rich country because per capita income they gain $45,000, while we are 35, and probably Albania is 20. I don't know. A related index to the per capita income is kilograms per annum per person. So the more a country is rich, the more is generating waste. This was almost a perfect statistic. I want to check now. We can say that in the last decade, this culture changed. So if you generate a lot of waste per capita, your footprint is bad, and this is not a hype. Definitely your son is screaming on you if you do something wrong. But once it was a perfect correlation.
Okay, we have time for just one more question. So, is anybody wanting to ask something? So, I think we can close this roundtable, and thanks again. Thanks, Franco, also for skipping the sailing race to be with us. And thank you all three for joining us. I hope that you got very good questions today. And thank you for sharing your experience and your knowledge with us today. And I will give the floor to Dorina. Thank you.
So just a last thank you. It's been a long day. Thank you to the ones that resisted, that were with us from 10 in the morning. I want to say thank you again to Maria, to Paola, if you come again close to me, to Valentina, to Francesca, even if she's not here, to all the people that really worked for this reunion. I hope you got a lot of inputs, and I really enjoyed the fact that you are here, so many of you this morning, more than 130 people. It means we can grow as a community, so I'm very satisfied. I hope to see many of you this evening for the dinner. And what? Okay, yes, I have. So I have a small present for you. I think I forgot to give it to the other ones. And okay, you're free. Thank you.
Wow. Ma bella quella. Io ho sempre... Sì. Non sono bravo, però diverte. Anche tu ti eri addormentato. Anche tu ti eri addormentato.